Hello, I'm Kim Casey.
And I'm Adrienne Johnson.
And we are Reclaiming Sisterhood. Today on our podcast, we have a very, very special guest. And I just want to give you a little bit of personal background about why we're doing the podcast today. The title of our podcast is Black Girl Magic versus Black Girl Tragic. And we're going to be talking about all of the obstacles, but also the triumphs around Black women and Black girls today. And in this episode, we want to also think about how we carry excellence forward at work, at home, and in our own communities. We also know that when we bring our excellence, there's sometimes we hear things that, oh, you're too this, you're too loud, you're too much of something. And so we want to kind of dissect that a little bit today and understand that in ways that don't challenge us around who we really are. Our featured guest today is Nicole Robinson, and she will be helping us talk through this issue. What does it cost to be exceptional? What is the cost to our emotional selves, our professional selves, our personal selves? And then this conversation matters because Black women are lifelong change agents. We always show up rolling our sleeves and standing in the gap. So by centering our truth, we can really figure out how to unpack this onion around Black Girl Tragic and Black Girl Magic. So today, Nicole Robinson is the Chief Executive Officer of the YWCA of Metropolitan Chicago. Welcome.
Thank you for having me, Kim.
Where she leads transformative work centered on equity, empowerment, and justice for women and girls. She's a proud Southside native. Nicole has spent her career bridging worlds of policy, philanthropy, and community, working to dismantle structural barriers and build a more inclusive system for opportunity. Welcome, Nicole.
Thank you. Thank you for having me today.
Awesome. Well, we're going to just jump right in with a few questions so that we can kind of just get into this conversation.
And can I just say I love your outfits?
Oh, thank you.
Just for the listeners out here, you can't see it up close, but I can, and it's amazing.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
You very much. Well, our first question is, what does Black Girl Magic mean to you?
I love that question. I love the framing of the podcast in general, although we are not tragic. So let me...
Never.
Exactly.
Never.
We are not tragic.
No.
I also want to evoke, because as you know, Kim, we go back. I'm a fan of history, even recent history. So I do want to evoke the name of Kashawn Thompson because she is the individual who coined the phrase, and her actual initial rendition when it sort of went viral on social media was Black Girls Are Magic. And it was in response actually to a now deleted Psychology Today article where the author actually critiqued the look of Black women, suggesting that we are not beautiful. So I do think that is important because I don't know if everybody knows the origin story, and we have all monetized.
Yes.
This sure
I don't
has.
know. Did Kashawn get any money?
No.
Probably not a dime.
Probably not.
Probably not a dime.
Right, probably not a dime. So I want to give her, thank her for that. But I do want to say that it was in opposition, in resistance to that thought, right? Because Black women are beautiful. Yes. And the fact that, we have to remind ourselves through self-affirmation or because we live in a society that's based on, European standards. So I just want to evoke that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So the next thing I say is that, for me, it is about excellence, and it's a derivative, honestly, of just overall Black excellence, right? Because my grandmother migrated here from the South. Arkansas is a part of the Great Migration. My mom was born in Arkansas, then moved to St. Louis, and then, of course, came to Chicago. My mom never graduated high school. Her name's Nicole Robinson. I want to evoke her name, too. She's 84. She's super smart. She's super curious. Like at 84, she's one of the most curious people I know. She follows politics. She knows all the issues. She has policy recommendations
Love.
to help solve what's going on. So she didn't finish high school because she wasn't brilliant. She didn't finish high school because, people told her she wasn't beautiful. Her name is Eulalia. People couldn't pronounce her name. Right? So they would call her different names. So I bring that up too, that we just come from this generation of overcoming adversity, working hard. Black women are the fastest growing group and largest group of entrepreneurs in the United States. It's Black women. We have grown in every sector, business, politics, community, government. We're the organizers. We're the caregivers. We're working. We've been working since slavery.
Yes.
Right? And we started out as unpaid labor. Right? And then we grew and evolved. So it is no surprise to me to see Black women excelling in so many ways. I'm also exhausted for us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the narrative. I'm a fan of. I know you can't like Nicole. Stop saying all this. I'm also a fan of superheroes. So for anybody who likes, I was the Black, because we're not a monolith either. That's what I want to say about us as Black women too. We're not one dimensional.
Yep.
And I love all dimensions of us. I love the Real Housewives. I love Double Dutch. I love I'm the what's the Issa Rae? What did Issa Rae call us?
I don't
Remember?
know.
Awkward Black girl.
Yeah.
I was the awkward Black girl in high school. I had the
me
holes
too.
in the jeans, the safety pins, all of that. And there's a show called Generation V. So if you like mutants, if you follow the X-Men, it's like the next generation of that.
Nice.
And there's a character named Marie, and her superpower is she can manipulate her blood or anybody else's blood and just achieve anything. She can control. She's almost like Professor X, but a Black girl.
Yeah.
A Black.
Awesome.
And I love that she's a kind of like a college student, right? And but she goes through, she has this pressure because what is going to happen is she's going to be the first Black girl, potentially, Black person, Black woman, to be part of the Avengers of the Generation V. I don't know. Do you know the name? Shout the name out if anybody knows it. But I love that she's superhuman. She is the epitome of Black girl magic. In a way, but she also feels this pressure. And I feel like we all feel these pressures in different spaces because we not only represent ourselves as individuals, we represent Black women altogether, right? We represent an entire community. So we feel all of that. It's exhausting. I could go on and on.
Yeah,
and on.
no, I'm glad you're bringing that up because for me, it's like, yes, it is Black girl magic and we are magical. However, there's some pain and some exhaustion behind the magic,
It's
right?
impossible.
That's
it's
right.
like we don't break and we do.
And we can't just be, right?
Yes.
Never.
Because you got to do all these things to
Yes.
be excellent or to be the Black girl magic,
Yes.
right? To show up.
And not just that, when you're just being, somebody's like, what's wrong with you? Are you okay today? What's wrong with you? Adrian's in a bad mood. It's like, I'm not in a bad mood. I'm just showing up just regular today.
And see, I love that you said just regular Adrian because
I'm just regular.
there's also this ordinary Black girl. I'm an ordinary Black girl.
Yeah.
I am not Mensa. I didn't triple grades as a kid. I was good. I got in trouble sometimes. Yeah, I got in trouble. That I could go into that, but we won't right now. But I got into trouble. Right now, they sort of penalize Black girls. We're getting suspended. I love Black boy joy, but don't forget about the girls because we're under invested in. I was actually with 120 or so preteens, primarily girls, over the weekend, and Kat for those Kat's doing the camera. So for those of you who don't see Kat, and I have this purple tinsel in my hair. I'm not that cool, y'all. Nicole did not pick out the tinsel. It was the pressure of 120 ordinary teen girls who are just being joyful, having fun, learning about STEM. It's a partnership with the YWCA and Ulta Beauty. And I love that for them.
Yeah.
I love that for them. And an ordinary Black girl can become the CEO of the YWCA of
That's
Metro
right.
Chicago.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
right.
that's awesome.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So we talk about leadership and leadership traits, and one of the leadership traits that I think I'm going to just speak for myself. Sometimes I had a hard time grappling with is vulnerability, right? So as a Black woman, how do you make room for vulnerability, flawed, create a space where it is psychologically safe? Because that was when somebody told me that one time. Adrian, this is not a psychologically safe space. I'm like, what does that mean? How does that work?
That's good. That's interesting. So I do want to say that before joining the nonprofit community, I worked 19 years in corporate America. And part of this sort of magic that is demanded of us is also grounded in capitalism, racism, sexism. And as long as those things exist in the way that they are today, this magical metaphor is actually hard to overcome. One thing, and I'm going to quote somebody, Melody Hobson, one of the things, she's like, I fangirl her, you know, because I think
we
she is
all
Black
do.
Girl Magic.
Yeah.
She's just like genius.
Yeah.
Black Girl Genius. Maybe we need a
Exactly.
new name. It's not Matt, she's just a genius.
We're quoting it here, Black Girl Genius.
There you go. Put it on a t-shirt.
Make sure you get money for it.
Right. Kashawn, we're going to learn from that. But she said something that I really love, which I do think I model. I didn't say it, but I do model it, which is don't be a know-it-all, be a learn-it-all. Right? And when
That's
you
good.
have that attitude, I do think you leave space for vulnerability, whether you want to know how someone feels, because we're all different. Like, I'm a deep introvert, like down deep. Barack Obama is a deep introvert, so I have to say that because people kind of have a sometimes an idea of what introversion is, but it just means that after 12 hours
You got to
I can be
retreat.
quiet. Yeah, I don't have to talk to anyone about anything. And when I heard you say that, that's actually what I thought about. Just being is okay,
Yes.
and it's actually encouraged. The fact that we don't that we can't reflect, that we can't be quiet, that we always have to be doing. Actually, always doing blocks you from creativity. It blocks you from revelation. I mean, that's what prayer and meditation is about, right? It's about quieting everything. So the fact that you want to be quiet, that means you're probably cocking up something amazing.
I'm a deep introvert too.
Okay, see, I knew I liked
Yeah,
you for a reason.
I'm a deep
See, that's why
introvert.
we're sitting next to each other.
Yeah.
Kim's over there.
I'm over here.
The
I'm
extrovert's
deep.
over there.
Yeah, I'm like,
the
what?
introverts are over
Yeah.
here. Yeah. I love that. But I didn't fully answer your question.
About how do you create the space?
Yeah. Okay. So the other thing I'd say is I'm not good, so I'm not gonna profess that I'm perfect at it because I'm an introvert. It might take me a little longer to warm up sometimes, depending on the situation. I think that I feel like I know how to create space for others based on this curiosity and wanting to learn versus approaching every interaction with someone as a know-it-all or I want to know what you know. I want to learn about who you are, where you're from, what you're doing.
Yeah.
That motivates me quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, great.
And then the other thing I say too, just in a work context, is this nature to drive, get things done. Sometimes we need to slow down.
Yes.
Right? Because if we collaborate, we do things together, we're going to go further than we would if we just drive to get it done. We just drive to check the box. So
Yeah.
On go.
And I think sometimes that even helps with the space, right? Because you're not so like when you slow down, you have an opportunity to say, "Well, how you doing today?" You know, you have an opportunity to ask if there's, "Well, do you have kids? You gotta like what you do in your spare time?"
yeah, and Black women, let me say, that's part of our natural magic.
Yeah.
That's why we're natural organizers. We're bringing people. We're inviting them to the barbecue. We're cooking the food. We're doing everything though. We just have to delegate more.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, this conversation of all women doing all things and standing in the gap for all people, and then people are standing on our shoulders. I have a mental image that comes to mind when I originally started thinking through this podcast, and that's the image of Harriet Tubman pulling the plow. And that as Black women, we've been told that we have to be strong, we have to do all these things in order for our civilization to survive. And
Necessity.
it absolutely is necessity. But think about that in the name of couching white supremacy inside of Black girl magic, right? And what does that make us do, right? When we are couching it and we're chasing the wrong thing around being a magical Black girl.
So tell me more about chasing the wrong thing. I know you're supposed to be asking questions, so I just want to.
But no, I think the chasing the wrong thing is all of these kind of cultural white supremacy traits, right? We need that job. We need that husband with 2.5 children. And we need that home with the picket fence. And we need the right kind of job and the right kind of clothes and the right kind of hair in order to be presentable as officially the Black girl that's magic.
Exactly. And what's crazy about it, Kim, is that that magical Black woman is the most unloved being on this planet. We are at the bottom of the list. There's nothing we can do to penetrate. We just, and I hate to invoke politics, but 92% of Black women voted for Kamala Harris for President of the United States. No one is perfect. But the vast majority of Americans decided, she's not good enough. And I would rather choose Darth Vader evil over collective care. Right?
Yep.
The elimination of racism. Supporting women and caregivers. She had the most amazing platform around caregiving. Older adults are going to be the largest demographic living in poverty by 2030. Who is going to care for people? Who is going to care for Black women?
That's right.
We're the most single group of people. So that picket fence, I'm a single Black woman with no kids.
Yeah,
So
I know, but
Who's
just
taking care of me? Are y'all going to take care of me?
But even in that, Nicole, you being single, right? And that is a choice. But think about the impact that society places on us as Black women, that and even our families. You got to be married by a certain age. You got to have all these things and check in the box. Otherwise, you're not considered strong or excellent or
Woman.
or a woman.
But I think it also gets back because I follow the research, and even in the research around marriage, again, Black women are at the bottom. They're at the bottom. So there is this: we should have all the choices that any other human has, but we should also not be. It's almost like it's a whole thing for a society to say, no, not y'all.
Well, even this. So, going back to the Kamala Harris comment, since then, I've seen a whole erasure or an invisibility cloak that has been put over Black women.
Yes, and more. I would go further. You're right. Invisible, almost targeted. Because see, we're easy when you're at the bottom.
That's what I say. Targeted.
Right.
Yeah.
When you're already at the bottom, people pick on the people who are the bottom or perceived. So imagine, because see, I remember I was all in the election. Like I was crossing my fingers. I was praying. I was like, we can do this. And the weekend, and see this, the timing of your podcast is actually pretty interesting because at the right before election day, the weekend before election day, I was with those same 120 preteen girls the weekend before the election.
Okay.
So I had so much hope. And then to sort of have the outcome that we have, I was less concerned about what it meant for me. I was like, I'll be okay. I'm an old lady. I've lived my life. But I was most concerned for those teenagers. What kind of world are we creating for them where they already have confidence that's dwindling, but then they openly see how women are treated in general, sexist, misogynist. We have an administration that is full of men who don't care and women who don't care, women who are traitors. I'm going to say it. They're traitors. They're selling out for power, for some perception of power. But then today we have, Letitia James. You have, is it Lisa Cook with the Federal Reserve?
Yep.
Attacking her about purchasing a second home? Really? That's all you can find on her? That's an attack.
But what's interesting about that is she did have those 2 mortgages, but she was moving from one state to another. So she hadn't closed on one house. So, of course, she had a house that said, this is my main resident, but I have to move to D.C. where I'm getting a house that's my main resident.
Yeah, I am her. There's probably most homeowners that have a second home are her. Indict us all. Indict us all. Because that's how trivial of an attack this is. So
it's an attack on anti-blackness, period. And because women have been standing in the gap, we are the first targets. I can't be remiss without talking about Black men. We talk about Black women being at the bottom, but Black men are even under that. And so when Black women rise up, we're representing not just Black women, but Black men. I think about Ida B. Wells and the separation with Susan B. Anthony around the women's suffrage movement.
And Frederick Douglass.
Where Ida B. Wells was like, well, wait a minute, we want women's rights, but not at the expense of giving Black men the right to vote, right? And then Ida B. Wells is like, well, wait a minute, I can't do that unless, because I'm Black first, right? And so I think this identity politics comes into play more so now than ever because everybody is choosing a side and picking a side. And what I'm hoping to think about when we talk about Black girl magic is that magic resides in all of us. And so how do we think about, how do we support the wholeness in all of us so that we don't get into these little tribe wars or whatever, retreating to our corner. And even within Black women, right, retreating in our corners around, well, that Black woman over there is professional, or that Black woman over there, she from the community. Like, we have all these codes, even with Black women.
That is called classism.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Right, and that goes back to capitalism. Yeah. Right, and that is something that Martin Luther King, Dorothy Height, during the Civil Rights Movement, that is what he came to conclude in his final years, is that we actually need to address capitalism because racism and sexism are tools basically to keep someone at the bottom. We live in a country where somebody needs to be at the bottom. So even for white women, who as a leader of the YWCA, I mean, we have a multicultural coalition of people that includes white women. Girl boss, they just got another term, but they have another term that actually speaks to this level of performance that they have to have in the workplace. They still aren't always kind to Black women. That's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
But I will pick up on your historical thread, too, because it ties to the YWCA. Our mission is to eliminate racism and empower women. That mission is only 55 years old, even though the YWCA is 150 almost years old. And it was women like Dorothy Height, Ella Jo Baker, who were a part of the movement, because we have all, in recent years kind of rediscovered the fact that the women organized the March on Washington. The women. But Dorothy Height wasn't allowed to speak on stage. No woman was allowed to speak on stage at the March on Washington, even though they were integral leaders in the movement. So actually a place like the YWCA, Dorothy Height became the first racial justice leader. And part of that is because she could assume leadership inside of YWCA in a way that she could not actually within the civil rights movement. And it would be in 1971 in Texas, 3,000 women across YWCAs, all across the United States, multicultural, multi-generational, aunties, grandmas, sisters, everybody, hippies, imagine, sitting on the floor, kind of sitting like cat, all around on the floor. And it would be the Black women. We had a meeting before the meeting. We all have that at work, right?
Yes.
Somebody has the meeting before the meeting to get ready for the meeting. And that's essentially what Black women did before this annual conference. They got together and they said, you know what? We're never going to eliminate, we're never going to achieve our mission around women's empowerment until we deal with racism. They say we just have to deal with it head on, and we want it to be part of the mission. And they said, we'll never get economic opportunity. We'll never get the affordable child care that we need. We'll never get all the things, housing. So they go to this meeting, they're not on the agenda, and they just say, hey, we have something to say.
Love it.
And they put up this slide. I don't know, what do you call the things? You guys are all probably too young. Kim might remember.
The overhead projector.
The overhead projector. They had an overhead projector where they had marked up this slide and drew lines. We're eliminating racism. And they sort of said what they had to say. It was a mic drop moment. And then they walked out of the hotel, the conference room, in protest. And they begged them back. Come back. Wait, we don't want to protest. Because, it's the civil rights movement. So anytime a group of people start marching, it's a protest.
Right.
It's instantly a protest. And they came back in and they said, okay, we'll talk about this. And for 2 days, they debated this idea of what is the role of eliminating racism in the mission. And it was like a political convention. People had signs, and some of the handwritten signs that said, I vote for what they called the one imperative, which was to eliminate racism. And then others said, hell no. Right? Because if you were in Iowa, if you were in Texas, you were like, I'm not doing it. But they prevailed in the vote, and that is really the origin story of this mission. I love sharing that because I do think when you mention tribalism, we as women, we have to stick together. Like that just seems like a no-brainer across culture, race, age, like that's got to be the price of admission.
Yeah.
Why are we not supporting one another?
That's
And
right.
I just think if we unify around some of these other issues like collective care, because capitalism, there's going to be somebody at the bottom.
Always.
And Black people, Black women are easy targets. So let's just talk about how we care for one another and share.
And share.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Being the
love
boss and hustle culture, like we embrace it, but it's also our detriment.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Nicole, your leadership demonstrates, just this conversation today, but then your overall leadership, you're actually walking the walk. And
I think.
Yeah, no, you are. You are, because you're creating a model that centers authenticity and centers community and centers care. And that's what you're walking out as a leader in the city of Chicago, and specifically a Black woman, to be able to be an example to everybody. So I'm going to ask one final comment for you is if we're the authors now, what new stories do we want to tell about who we are and how we are to lead? If we're the authors, what new stories do we need to tell?
Black women well, which means Black women are loved. Black women can fail forward because we are human. Black woman redemption, right? Claudine Gay, unceremoniously fired from Harvard University. She is brilliant. Where is her redemption? Where is she now? So I want to see Black women failing forward, growing forward. I want Black women loved, right?
Yes.
I want us to have stories of, in all different dimensions of what that looks like. I want us linked hand in hand with Black men. We're not enemies. I mean, that's a whole nother topic for your podcast. But I want to see kind of what you said, the full range of our stories being respected, right? Because we're different, and it's okay to be different. But if I want to be awkward Black girl, then that's cool too.
Yep.
If I want to be tough Black girl, that's true. I want to counter the angry Black woman narrative, because that is something I have experienced in my career. This idea we got to make people feel comfortable.
Why aren't you smiling? Smile with your eyes if you're not going to smile.
Ooh, did someone say that to you?
So I said somebody else.
Okay.
And I was like, what does that mean? I don't even know what that means.
You know what that means. It looks like this.
I'm like, smile with your eyes. Wow, that's deep.
I can remember being on interview panels and where the person being interviewed was a Black woman, and then we're discussing, and someone saying, she just seems mean. So that's your reason for not hiring? Like, I just can't see myself going to lunch with her.
Wow.
Right? So how do we respect differences? It's work. We don't all have to be friends.
That's right.
Yes.
But we need to be respected. We need to be loved. I want us to be rewarded. I want Black women to be rich. I know that's crazy because I just said, capitalism is a problem.
But rich in many things.
Exactly. Not in abundant wealth, but just like abundance. There's enough for us. There is, the struggle is lighter because we grow. Because trust me, I work hard. I got a problem. So that's another podcast.
I know. I got
working
the same
too much.
one.
That's a working too much. But I think when you do something you love, and then you grow through work, adversity isn't a bad thing. Like the theme for, I have to say, plug this. I got to plug YWCA again.
Go ahead. That's why you're here.
We have an upcoming luncheon at the YWCA. It's Thursday, November 6th. And I always love to have a great theme. The theme this year is Still We Rise. And it's inspired by Maya Angelou's iconic poem, Still I Rise. I love Maya Angelou. She's a woman, from the South, was sexually assaulted, had a stutter. Like, she had a recipe for Black girl ordinary that would never say that she would achieved what she achieved. Right?
Yeah.
And she was actually able to capture that sentiment in a poem. And for the moment we're in, the past 9 months we've been through in this current administration, that to me, we're going to still rise no matter what. So I want that for us, but I want the lift to be lighter.
Awesome.
Right. I want it to be lighter.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that.
Let me turn it over to...
Yeah. So the closing thought. Reclaiming Sisterhood isn't just a podcast. It's reclaiming voices, visibility, and truth. Every story shared, here's a thread in the tapestry of Black women's lived experiences, brilliant, complex, vulnerable, and powerful. We honor the space between magic, because we are magic, and the mess. It's not just the magic, but the mess too. And I think oftentimes we have to hide the mess, because when the mess shows up, everybody's uncomfortable. People are uncomfortable with Black women's mess.
So that's why our social media feeds look the way they do. Only the good stuff, never the bad stuff.
Yeah.
That's true.
Only the good stuff.
Yeah.
The bad stuff we DM.
It's a societal problem.
We DM it to somebody like, oh, I'm going to send you this. I know this is super ratchet, but I'm gonna put it in your DM. And that's because we know our full lives matter, and they're important.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a space where Black women don't have to explain themselves or defend or reduce who they are or show up in a piece. So we want to try to use this space so that we can show up in our full selves, but have the courage to do that. And then also critically challenge each other, right? So we're not all 3 Black women. We don't all think the same. So whether you're a leader, an artist, a caregiver, or a truth seeker, or all of the above, Reclaiming Sisterhood speaks to the parts of you that are often unseen, but always essential. If this conversation has moved you, share it with a sister who needs to hear it. Follow us, leave a review. More importantly, take this dialogue into your own circles. This is more than just a podcast. This is a movement. We're trying to see these ideas and conversations among women across all of our communities so that we can eventually come together and potentially have what Nicole just talked about, where hundreds of women come together to plan out what it is we need from our country. This is more than a podcast. Welcome home.